Hi dear students, in the previous session we discussed about the general classification of animal kingdom, the non-chordates and chordates separately. So when it comes to non-chordates, the first phyla which has been announced or present will be the right? Now in today's session we will discuss about the general properties of poriferans along with the few examples and the unique properties in detail. Is porifera and the members of that group is called as poriferans. Now here the word pori refers to the presence of porous body structure. There will be a porous structure, a small porous structures will be present on the surface of the body. So that's why they possess a porous body structure. So that's why the name is called as poriferans. And the next property is due to the presence, as we have learnt in case of earlier classes regarding the general properties of all the animal kingdom, that is symmetry, or maybe the coelomic property of an organism, or it may be the body wall layers, body plan, like this. We have to announce which one will be the structure. So that's why due to the presence of two wall layers, they are called as diploblastic animals. And only by the presence of two wall layers and the absence of mesodermal germ layer, they are called as acoelomates. Along with that, you can find only ectoderm and endoderm. Only two germ layers will be there and are called as acoelomates. The next property is, when it comes to their habitat, they are completely aquatic. And majority all the organisms are marine. They are all marine. And only one is there, only one freshwater organism is there. Freshwater organism of porifera is there and is called as Spongilla. Spongilla is the only one freshwater organism, and except Spongilla all are marine in habitat. So next is they possess a cell aggregate type of, only the many number of cells will form the body plan. So that's why it is called as cell aggregate type of body plan. Cell aggregate type of body plan. When it comes to the symmetry of an organism, these almost all are asymmetrical in nature. Asymmetrical. We cannot get the equal halves by the cutting or at any one plane or maybe at the radius. So that's why these are asymmetrical organisms. And the level of organization is cellular type. Cellular level of organization is observed. Cellular level of organization is present. When it comes to the organ system properties, they possess the digestive system. The digestion process is by intracellular method. As it takes food, a solid food. It takes solid food material into the body and later on it digests inside the body itself. So that's why due to the presence of solid intake of food, and these are called as nutrition is holozoic. Holozoic type of nutrition is there due to the presence of intake of food in the solid form, and later on some of the digestive juices are secreted in the cell, and later the digestion will take place inside the body. That's why it is called as intracellular digestion. When come to the respiratory system and the excretory system. Respiration, that means exchange of gases, and excretion, that means elimination of waste material. Elimination of waste material. These two will take place by the body surface through a general body surface itself. Through a general body surface. And later, and here we talk about excretion process. The excretory material, major excretory material will be a more toxic ammonia. So that's why these organisms are called as ammonotelic. Based on the major or chief excretory substance, organisms are classified into three different types. All the animal groups are classified into three different types. If they excrete majorly ammonia and are called as ammonotelic. If excretes urea as its major excretory component, then are called as ureotelic. If it excretes uric acid and are called as uricotelic organisms. Here, as they excrete ammonia, which is more toxic when compared to other two, and that's why these are called as ammonotelic, where they live in the water, they require more water for excretion. So that as due to the presence of more water availability, they forms a ammonotelic mode of excretion of the waste material. And next is the special properties which belongs to poriferans. So here the reproduction process. Reproduction in poriferans is by both asexual method and the sexual method. It is both by asexual and sexual method. So how it exactly occurs with the asexual and the sexual method of reproduction, we will go in detail with that. So here now unique properties of poriferans. Poriferans possess a body structure. I will write a one diagram for to understand the structure. So as it is, I will take a cycon, any one of the organism. So you can maybe a sponge, any one of this sponge, Euplectella, you can take any one. And the body structure contains a one tube like structure within that and is attached to the substratum, where its body is attached to the substratum, and later you can find the porous structures on the surface of the body. So there will be a presence of porous structures, and that can be exhibited like this, are expressed in this form. These are the porous structures present, and which makes the distinct division of the units. Here is a distinct unit like appearance. So this is one of the sponge, and when it comes to this one, there will be a presence of a halo structure, a spacious one region, and is called as spongocele. And these porous structures are called as ostia. Later on, this opening is called as osculum, and this is substrate attachment. This is a substrate attachment. This is the complete appearance of any one of the sponge, a poriferan. And where you can find this complete structure by enlarging this region. I will show you how it looks, the porous body structure also. This is a spongocoel region. I will separate this region. This is considered as a spongocoel, and later this is considered one of the wall layer. And when this wall layer is separated by ostia, the presence of ostia. So this is one side wall layer, and I will write one more line for this. I just elaborating it. Actually you need it to the structure, so that's why. So this is a ostia, complete structure of a ostia. And you can find that this as a spongocoel. And later there will be a presence of outermost layer, and is made up of a separate unit structures. The cells and are called as pinacocytes. These are called as pinacocytes. And that layer which is formed by pinacocytes are called as pinacoderm. Derm andre skin anteli. The outermost skin layer is called as pinacoderm, as due to it is made up of a pinacocytes. And later the innermost layer possesses a special type of cells, and those special type of cells are called as choanocytes. And these choanocytes will make a inner lining. So this innermost lining, ee region na formation madlikke help madutte. So these choanocytes possess the structure like this, one of the spherical unit, and later one collar cell, and later on a longest flagella. This is a structure of a choanocyte with this collar cell. And these collar cells are attached to this spherical body. So these are called as choanocytes, present towards the spongocoel, and which forms the canal system, which is of 3 different types. I will explain that. So these are called as a collar cells, and along with that flagella will be there. And due to the presence of choanocyte cells towards the innermost region of a spongocoel, and that layer which is formed by the choanocytes are called as a choanoderm. And the cells which forms these are called as a choanocytes. And later on, one of the largest cell which makes the porous body and will provide one plate like structure or a porous structure, and here you can find this as a pore cell. Okay, so this is called as pore cell. Within this region, this space, it is provided with the gelatinous collagen fiber, a material called as collagen fiber. Along with that, some amount of water will also be there. These two are called as a pore cells. And this space is filled up by the collagen fiber, and also water, and that region is called as a mesoglia. This region is called as mesoglia. Within this mesoglia, irregular shaped cell will also be there, which helps in elimination process, and these irregular shaped cells are called as amoebocytes. amoebocytes. So this is a one enlarged structure of a wall layer of a sponges. You can find this structure in detail. So when it comes to the canal system, it possesses poriferans possess canal system, and those are of three different types based on the presence of choanocytes where it forms the lining, and those are Ascon type, Sycon type and Leucon type. So here it is. The one type of canal system is Ascon type, next is Sycon type, third one Leucon type of canal system. When it forms, the choanocytes which are present towards the spongocoel, I am just expressing you through this. These are the choanocyte cells where it makes an inner lining towards where they are present in the spongocoel region. The choanocytic cells which makes the lining towards spongocoel, and that type of canal system is called as Ascon type. So here the lining formed by choanocytes is towards spongocoel. In the same way, in case of Sycon type of canal system, which helps in the movement of water and food molecules. What is the function of canal system? Is to provide the easy movement of water and the food materials, right, and also the waste. So here the Sycon type of canal system is formed by the choanocyte lining which is towards the radial wall. So this is a porous structure present and it is called as ostia. So ee porous structure na ನಾವು ostia anta ಕರಿತೀವಿ, and the radial type of arrangement of choanocytes in the ostia, in the region of ostia, and is called as Sycon type of canal system. And later on the Leucon type, in case of Leucon type, it makes a arrangement of choanocyte cells towards flagella. So here, as in case of Ascon type, it towards the spongocoel. In case of Sycon, it is radial arrangement in the ostial region, and in Leucon type it makes arrangement towards the flagella, right. So in this way the canal system will be there that helps in the easy movement of water, as it is present in the aquatic media. These are present in the aquatic habitat. The flow of water will takes place and it takes the food inside as in solid form, and is called as holozoic mode of nutrition, and the digestion is intracellular, that makes the digestion of food materials inside the body of an organism. Later on it is going to be excrete the waste material. So here that can be the canal system. And when it comes to the reproduction, I express that in the form of asexual method and the sexual method of reproduction. When it comes to the reproduction, before going to know about the reproduction process, there is a presence of endoskeleton within this mesoglea region. So within this mesoglea region there will be a endoskeleton. Endoskeleton means inside the body the skeletal structure will be there, which gives a framework to the organism's body. So when it comes to us also, the bones are present inside our body and that forms the endoskeleton, right. So in the same way the endoskeleton is present, endoskeleton is present in the skeleton will be present in the mesoglea region. In the mesoglea region, and this will be of two types. This will be of two types. One is spicules. One is spicules and other is spongin fibers. Spongin fibers. Spongin fibers. I am just retaining everything on board, just you have to make an overlook of that by the end, okay. So here spicules and spongin fibers will be the endoskeletal structures which are present in the mesoglea region. And these spicules are made up of, few are made up of calcium carbonate CaCO3 and are called as calcareous spicules. Calcareous spicules, and other which is made up of silicic acid. Silicic acid, and the type of spicules are called as siliceous spicules. Siliceous spicules. When it comes to, and these are very rigid in nature and are needle-like. Needle-like and are rigid. You should be very careful while writing those things. I just express over everything here only. Just you have to make a note in proper way. As they are needle-like and they are rigid in nature, which is made up of calcium carbonate and also silicic acid. Few are made up of calcium carbonate and few are made up of silicic acid. If it is made up of calcium carbonate, then they are called as calcareous, and if they are made up of these silicic acid, then are called as a siliceous spicules. The next type of endoskeleton which is formed here is spongin fibers. A protein called as spongin which helps in making of the, this is a protein which helps in making of the spongin fibers, and it is flexible in nature, and it is flexible network like. Flexible and network like. How it exactly looks in this region, I will show you here. So if you consider that calcium carbonate made, they just have the needle-like appearance, and the same silicic acid made will be in the form of, so idinna nanu illi torustini, they are triangular in shape. So in this way the siliceous will be there, and in this way the calcium carbonate made will be there, and they are present inside the mesoglial region. And along with this, the flexible network like spongin protein made spongin fibers type of endoskeleton will also be there, and it is spread like, so hige sumne hige network type, okay na. So illi hige network type distribute agirutte throughout the mesoglial region. The spongin fiber which is made up of spongin protein is spread over the mesoglial region. So this is about the endoskeleton, and here the reproduction process will take place by these type of structures, whereas in case of asexual mode of reproduction, it takes place in two different ways. One is, it is by budding, whereas the budding process will take place either exogenously outside, or it may be endogenously. If the exogenous type of genously buds are formed, they just come out. So I will write the exogenous type. If you consider this as a sponge, just the outgrowth will be formed outside this, okay. So and later on by maturity they will detach from the parental body, the buds, and they will develop into new individuals. That is exogenous type of budding asexual mode of reproduction. But in case of endogenously bud formation, they takes place by gemmule formation. So here gemmules means they are the propagating structures of needle-like structures of spicules. So as in case of gemmule formation endogenously, so here in case of, keep it in mind, I am just writing the gemmule structure here. As in case of gemmule formation, first archaeocyte cells will be formed and it is a cell aggregation, right? This is a cell aggregation and an outermost layer will be formed to hold this archaeocytes and is called as, these cells are called as archaeocytes. Okay, so these are called as archaeocytes and these possess the totipotent property. What do you mean by totipotency? It means each and every cell of an archaeocyte have the capacity to develop into a new individual of the sponges or the poriferans. Right now, archaeocyte have the capacity to reproduce or to form new individuals, and in case of these poriferans, due to the presence of totipotence property, they have the high power, regeneration power. So regeneration ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು asexual reproduction process ಇವರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ and it is in peak level. So due to the presence of totipotence property, and these archaeocytes are totipotent type of cells which are holded by outer membrane and forms a process of reproduction, and these are completely surrounded by a special type of mucilaginous outer covering, and at the top it is just opened with the micropylar end. This is called as micropyle. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಝೂಮ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೇ ಹತ್ರ ಬರೀತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ ರಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರಿಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯು ಓನ್ಲಿ. This region where there is a opening for the discharge of archaeocytes. I am giving you a statement. These archaeocytes are totipotent in nature and they forms a reproduction. Due to the presence of high regeneration capacity, they are due to the totipotence nature. And these archaeocytes, after maturity, they will come out through micropylar end. And this region is filled up with the mucilaginous sheath or a mucilage compound. Okay, so this mucilaginous compound which helps in prevention of drying of archaeocytes. What is the function of mucilage around the archaeocytes anta kelidre? That it helps in prevention of drying of archaeocytes. And later on, within this mucilage, there will be a presence of needle-like structures in irregular form and are called as gemmules. Okay, so these gemmules are produced endogenously inside the body of an organism. So that's why these are called as endogenously produced. Endo means inside and genus means production, right? So that's why endogenously produced and forms a budding process through the gemmules, and later on the reproduction will be exhibited asexually. So this is about asexual reproduction through budding. It will take place in two different ways, exogenously and endogenously. Exogenously only by outgrowth of the component or the cell wall layer. Sorry, cell wall alla, cell layer. So outermost layer, and then after that endogenously it is by gemmule formation. How it exactly forms? Here it is the structure. So regarding asexual reproduction, later comes to the sexual mode of reproduction. Here it takes place by the formation of gametes. through gamete formation, that is female and male gametes are going to be formed, and this by fusion fertilization will takes place and then forms the reproduction. So that is a sexual mode of reproduction. So we completed poriferans. So here is the properties. Porous body structure, 2 wall layers are called as diploblastic and they are acoelomates due to the presence of only 2 germ layers, and they are aquatic in nature as they are majority are marine organisms and only one freshwater is there, that is Spongilla. And the cell aggregate type of body plan will be there, and they are asymmetrical in nature, body symmetry will be asymmetrical, and they possess cellular level of organization, and the digestion is intracellular and the solid food is taken in, so that it is called as holozoic. And come to the respiration and excretion, it is by body surface only, and the excretion will takes place chief component of excretion will be ammonia, so that is why they are called as ammonotelic organisms, and the reproduction takes place by asexual and sexual method. In sexual method, gametes are formed separately, later by fusion forms of fertilization. So here after the fertilization is internal and development is indirect. So here how it exactly occurs with the development. So ಏನಂದ್ರೆ development ಆಗುವಾಗ direct young ones ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ direct development ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. There will be a presence of 2 different larval stages, formation of 2 different larval stages. Development is indirect. So here there is a free floating larva. I am going to convey you all that. You just write all these things and it will be very helpful for your CET and NEET purposes. Why I am retaining all these things, you just go through once again. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? ನಾನು ಇದು ಬರೀತಿರೋ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ಬೋದು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕು. Development is indirect and there is a 2 free floating larval stage. Free floating larval stage. Larval stage. The first one is parenchyma. So I will write these 2 here. Larval stages are, first one parenchyma, and the other type of larval stage is amphiblastula. Parenchyma and amphiblastula. So this parenchyma will be solid one and this is hollow. This is hollow type. ಒಳಗಡೆ ಕ್ಯಾವಿಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಓಕೆನಾ? ಹ್ಯಾಲೋ ಅಂತ ಈಗ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಪೈಪ್ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಹ್ಯಾಲೋ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಹಾಗೆ ರೈಟ್, 2 different larval stages will be there. First, the gametes which are formed will fuse us. Later on, they fertilize internally and later they come out with 2 larval stages and are free floating larval stages. And those free floating larval stages are parenchyma, which is a solid one, amphiblastula, which is a hollow one. After completing these 2 larval stages, it will be emerged as a new individual. So due to the presence of these 2 intermediate larval stages during its development is called as indirect one, and it possesses a free floating larval stages. Okay na? So idra basis mele nanu ಒಂದು 2-3 ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ನ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಅವಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ಯಾವ ತರ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ರೈಸ್ ಆಗಬಹುದು ಅಂತ. Okay, so regarding poriferans we have completed. I hope you all understood about the poriferans in detail along with the unique properties also. If you all asked with any of the general properties of poriferans, you need to write not only these points, along with that you should mention these also, as because the unique properties only suggest that this is a poriferan. And when it comes to diploblastic, coelentrates or cnidarians are also diploblastic. Acoelomate, again those are also acoelomates. And aquatic and marine freshwater, again the same will be there. So that's why only few should be the general properties, and later on you should mention the unique properties of all the organisms again. Okay. So I hope you understood about the poriferans. We will take up the next phyla, that is Coelenterata commonly called, and it is a older name, and the new name is cnidarians. That will be discussed in the next session. Thank you dear students.